Our top draft pick joins us now. Back here with former MLB Executive of the Year and CBS Sports baseball insider Jim Bowden, who joins us from the draft. Jackson Holliday, #1 overall to Baltimore. What's your reaction?
Well, history repeats itself, right? When Mike Elias, the GM of the Baltimore Orioles, was with the Houston Astros and they had to make a big draft decision. The decision was between Byron Buxton, the center fielder with a question with a hit tool, and he was the guy that the industry thought they should take, or Carlos Correa, the shortstop. Back then, the Astros took Correa. How did it work out for Mike Elias? How about a world championship in 2017? Now history repeats itself. Same situation. Now you've got Andrew Jones with a hit tool, a little bit of a question. The shortstop, Jackson Holliday's right behind him with no question on the hit tool. He's a 60 hitter, and Mike Elias does what he did when he was with the Astros and takes the shortstop in Jackson Holliday. So the Baltimore Orioles end up getting the shortstop that they wanted, a left-handed hitter. And what does that mean for the Arizona Diamondbacks? Well, they get Andrew Jones, who I think is the most impactful player in this draft, the best player in the draft. And for the Diamondbacks, Hakeem, now their future outfield of Jones, Corbin Carroll, and Alek Thomas is going to set them up for years to come in the outfield.
All right, so leading me right there to the son of Andrew Jones, selected by the Diamondbacks second overall. Is Arizona getting the same type of player that Andrew Jones was?
They are. They're getting a Gold Glove caliber center fielder with unbelievable range. He's got a 70 arm out there. I think when you look at it, the only question that people have is the hit tool. But I'll tell you, I saw Andrew Jones as a teenager. I think his son has a better hit tool than he does. I think his son is going to be able to hit with power. But he's got great base running instincts. He can steal bags. He's got power. This guy's got a chance to be, an Acuna, a Tatis, a Griffey, a Bonds, that level kind of player. So I think Arizona's very fortunate. And think of it from Druw Jones's perspective, Hakeem, right? Who would have said this a year ago? But he got drafted by the team that has a better ballpark for him. The light air in Arizona. That ballpark, you can hit more home runs than you can in Camden Yards. That's right. Why? Because this year at Baltimore, they took the Camden Yards left field wall. They moved it way back. They moved it way up, and now it's the hardest ballpark to hit home runs to left field. So for Jones, getting drafted from the Diamondbacks, ironically, he goes to the better stadium, or at least starting this year.
Yeah, and I love the moment for Druw Jones this season when he's at the plate and the opponent's fans are yelling overrated, and he promptly crushes a homer. I mean, you want to talk about a kid that's going to step up and knows about the pressure. I mean, his dad played in super big moments in the World Series, and he delivered time after time, and now his son Druw Jones looking to deliver for the Arizona Diamondbacks someday. A big surprise with the third overall pick. The Rangers select pitcher Kumar Rocker. Last year, of course, he was selected 10th over by the Mets. Didn't sign him after having concerns about his shoulder. He goes to an independent league team this year. He's looked fantastic. What did you think of this pick?
Well, the next best player on the board was Tamar Johnson, the young shortstop, second baseman from Mays, Georgia. But the Texas Rangers in the offseason spent $500 million on free agents, right? Most of that money went to second baseman Marcus Semien and to shortstop Corey Seager. So Johnson didn't fit with the Rangers. Then they looked at the next level of hitter there, and they really wanted to go pitching. GM Chris Young made it very clear he wanted to get a pitcher with a first pick because they don't get a second or third round pick because of signing both Semien and Seager. So they wanted to get a pitcher, and they went for Rocker. A year ago when they drafted Jack Leiter, they were debating between Leiter and Rocker. They didn't know which one to take. Rocker ended up going to the Mets. Then he didn't pass a physical. The Mets didn't sign him. He went to independent ball, and he threw 98 miles an hour this year with an unbelievable wipeout breaking ball. And now the Rangers have a chance to get the two guys they debated about a year ago in Leiter and Rocker. They were teammates at Vanderbilt. Now they'll be teammates in the Rangers organization. Certainly surprised everybody in the baseball world. Nobody saw a Rocker going here. That's what makes the draft so fun sometimes, is the unexpected, and that's what we got with this Rocker pick.
You're a former GM. Do you think the Rangers drafted him as a trade chip, or do you think they end up hanging on to him?
No, they're gonna hang on to him. I don't see them using him out of the bullpen. You know, that's something you and I had talked about earlier on CBS Sports HQ, because this is a guy that could come to the big leagues quickly in a bullpen role. But my understanding is the Rangers want him as a starter. They're trying to build a long-term rotation there in Texas. Last year with Leiter, this year with Rocker, and they're going to keep drafting pitching because they know that's going to be the key for them to eventually become contenders.
All right, Jim Bowden breaking down the first 3 picks of the Major League Baseball draft here on CBS Sports HQ. Jim, thanks. And here's a look at the top 10 picks. The favorite to go number 1 overall, you heard Jim talk about Turner Johnson. He gets drafted 4th overall by Pittsburgh. The high school prospect out of Georgia said, quote, "The Pirates are getting the best player in the draft and a ring," end quote. How about that? Confident. Looking to join a young core of O'Neal Cruz and Ke'Bryan Hayes in Pittsburgh. Termarr has been compared to Hall of Famers Wade Boggs and Vlad Sr. MLB Draft wraps up on Tuesday ahead of the Midsummer Classic in Los Angeles.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.